Well, hello and welcome to the webinar today on how to buy a home with no money down. Guys, we're going to get started here just in a few minutes, but if you want to and you have time, you might go ahead and want to go bookmark the following website. Go check out 417nomoneydown.com. That's www.417nomoneydown.com. That way you can see homes available in the greater Springfield area and areas such as Nixa, Ozark, Republic, Rogersville, all of that in our little surrounding areas that will qualify for no money down, and you can even set up a saved search in order to go ahead and just have that ping you and notify you anytime a new property comes up that's meeting your criteria. So it's a wonderful resource for you guys to have. So here we are. This is, again, how to buy a home with no money down. My name is Jeff Bonham. I'm a CEO and broker of the Bonham Group here in Springfield, Missouri. Before we get started, guys, the first thing I want to do is just do a quick sound check. So if you can, do me a favor and just type yes over in the box if you can hear me. Okay, great. It looks like we've got a few of you. By the way, thanks and welcome to the webinar. I see Bob, you joined us. Janice, thank you for being here as well. Susan, thank you. Thanks for being on this webinar today. Just a little housekeeping here before we get started. As I said, just make sure you can hear me. What you need to do to get the most out of this time is please turn off all distractions. Shut off your TV, silence your cell phone, and please pay attention so that we can set you on the path to owning the home of your dreams. And finally, just make sure to have a pen and paper ready to take some serious notes because we are going to cover a lot of material today. What my promise is to you is I promise to be to the point and not waste your time with a lot of just fluff and webinar filler. I don't know if you guys have been on many of these. Seems like I'm on 2 or 3 a week, and a lot of the guys just fill it up with junk. That's not what I'm going to do. We're going to get in. If it takes us 20 minutes to get through this or 40 minutes, I'm going to get through it for the sake of getting through it to give you the information you need. So my goal today is to give you enough knowledge that you gain confidence and believe, I mean truly believe, that you can and should buy a home. So again, in order to give you enough knowledge to give you the confidence, we're going to hit a lot of things. Now I have a question for you. My question is, do you believe that owning your own home is still a huge part of the American dream? Type it out. Type it over here on the right hand side. Okay. Yes, yes. All right, everybody seems to be agreeing that owning your own home is still a huge part of the American dream. So that's awesome. That's my goal, is to help you get to the point and be positioned to where you can do that. Now, if you stay until the end of this webinar, I've got a few bonuses for you that I think are pretty cool. The first thing is I'm going to give you a free home shopping list. What this is going to do is help you narrow down really your wants versus your needs and your home criteria so that you can get clarity going into this home process about what it is you're truly looking for. This will save you a lot of time, a lot of energy. It'll save your realtor a lot of time and energy to make sure everybody's on the same page from the get-go. The second thing is you're going to get a $2,000 home buyer savings guarantee certificate from the Bonham Group that guarantees you'll save a minimum of $2,000 on your home purchase. And also, our friends over at State Bank are going to give you $500 off your closing costs. So I'm going to get you that certificate. Okay, so stay till the end and you will get those things sent directly to you guys. Now, I don't know about you, but in the home hunting process, you look at ads online or maybe in the newspaper or Homes Magazine, and sometimes there's a phrase, there's a term called puffery, that's used in advertising to make something maybe sound better than it really is. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's hard to filter through that. So take a look at this. You guys, anybody remember this movie? Man, I love this movie. This old Tom Hanks movie called The Money Pit. I don't even know how old it is now, but I absolutely love this Money Pit movie. And check it out. The real estate ad word you might see in this ad, some TLC needed, all right, or some updating required, right? You see these things all the time. So as you're looking through this, just be aware that at the end of the day, still it is up to you to do your own due diligence. And so the more you know about the process of buying your first home, getting protected, getting the right mortgage, all of those things, the better decisions you can make and the better armed you'll be to handle situations should you come into a home like this, okay? So, quick intro here. Who am I? Again, I'm Jeff Bonham, and I'm just like you. I'm married. I've got a beautiful wife who's also my business partner named Kathy. We have one daughter who keeps us extremely busy, but incredibly thankful. She's still just a little girl, but man, I never knew how busy a little girl could make you. We love to travel. Usually, we eat too much, whether it's traveling or not. Just love to do it around food. We work out way too little, but we try. We try to keep ourselves in shape now that we're getting older in our 40s. And we always say we're going to get more exercise, right? Oh, I need to exercise more. And at times we find ourselves so busy, we wonder where all the time went. How did we get here and it's 8 o'clock at night already, or 9 o'clock, or holy moly, it's the end of July or September or October, and the year just seems to fly by. Like many of you out there, I've had a large amount of student loans, and I've had a lot of consumer debt that I had to pay off. I also, like many of you, I went through the economic downturn in 2006 to 2008. I mean, it hit me hard. I've been in real estate for 20 years, and that really hit our family hard. It shook our world upside down. We about lost everything in the downturn, and it felt like we were starting over because everything we had, all of our businesses, all of our income was tied into real estate. From there, it took me a couple of years before I was really able to get back into the swing and buy my first home again. I had some homes prior to the downturn, and I had to get rid of them. And it took me a while due to being, self-employed, having credit card spending to try and just maintain some of the bills during that downturn, and really feeling like I was never going to be able to dig myself out of that debt to buy my family a home again. And that was very important to me. Now, who am I? What are my credentials? Well, as I said, I've been in the business since 1996. I'm currently a partner in multiple real estate brokerages and franchises in Missouri, Mississippi, and Florida. I had the honor of serving as the CEO for the Jackie Ellis team in Florida, which was an amazing experience. They're ranked basically in the top 150 real estate agents out of over 1 million. In the top 150 out of 1 million agents in all of North America by the Wall Street Journal. I've been blessed by being asked to help contribute to one of Brian Tracy's books, and it became an Amazon bestseller in 5 categories called The Secret to Winning Big. You can see the picture over there of Brian and I on the book cover. I have also founded the Real Estate Masters Institute, which trains top real estate agents all across the country on how to be better at what they do. And one of the big parts of that is making sure that they are being advocates for you, the consumer, that they're protecting your best interest, that they're getting you the right deals, that they're serving you at such a high level that you rave about them and want to send them everybody you know that's thinking about buying or selling real estate. I'm also a nationally approved real estate trainer for Keller Williams University. I get to speak around the country on behalf of Keller Williams University. This is a privilege given to fewer than 150 agents in the United States out of over 100,000 people within the organization. So again, quite a privilege there. In our career, Kathy and I have the biggest blessing and the biggest privilege is that we've helped over 1,000 people buy or sell homes. We've made a lot of friends. We've helped people buy their first home, their second home, their retirement home. We've helped them downsize after the kids have gone to college. So we've gotten to help and serve so many of you out in our community. And the other thing is that for my credentials, I believe 100% that the path to financial stability all starts with getting your first home. So I'm very passionate about helping get you into your home and helping be a resource for you during this journey. Now, as you saw from my previous slides, yeah, I've done a lot of things right over the last 8 to 10 years, but as you probably also noticed, I've also learned a lot of very tough, hard knock lessons about money management, budgeting, and buying real estate since 1996. And so my goal during our time together is to impart some of that on you and help you accomplish what you want to here. So there are three big secrets that we're going to cover. Secret number one, you don't have to have a ton of money saved up or perfect credit to buy a house. That's awesome, right? I'm going to show you how. Secret number two, loan officers want to find a way to give you money. If they don't write loans, guys, they don't get paid. A lot of people think that loan officers are the enemy or that it's an us against them adversarial thing. And boy, that is just the wrong mindset. They are there to help. And secret number three, I'm going to show you how you can get a great home at a great price with amazing terms by hiring a professional realtor like the Bonham Group to protect your best interest. And best of all, I'm going to show you how to do it without paying them a dime out of your own pocket. I'm going to show you how to get represented, how to get an agent fighting on your behalf without paying them a dime out of your pocket. Pretty cool or what? Okay, again, a reminder that stick till the end. I've got three of these awesome bonuses for you that add up to about a $3,000 value. So let's get going. Here's the overview. Here's the 5 takeaways from your time today. First, what steps should I take before home hunting? What financing options are available for me? What if I've had a bankruptcy or foreclosure? How does that impact me? What type of money do I need to make in order to afford a home? And what is this thing I hear about called buyer's agency? And how does it actually impact me in my home hunt? So first of that, takeaways. What steps should you take before home hunting? Well, pretty straightforward. I want you to talk with a reputable loan officer and get pre-approved. Step number one, okay? A lot of people don't do that until they've already started looking. And I got to tell you, that's backwards because you want to know exactly what you can qualify for a couple of reasons. One, you may be able to afford more house comfortably than you think, and you like that, and so you may have been looking in the wrong area. Number two is you may not be able to afford as much house as you want, and if you've already been looking and you find out your house approval is $20,000 or $30,000 less than what you've been looking at, it's a whole different type of a home at that price difference, and you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment because you've been looking at homes that are in a different category. So this is really important. Now, if you don't have a reputable loan officer, we want to be your resource. Give us a call. We'll hook you up. We've got several of them that we know truly care about the clients and about making sure they're doing the right thing for them, making the right financial decision for their family. So let us know and we'll hook you up. After you know what your price range is, I want you to make 2 lists. One is a list of all of your absolute needs, and the other list is one that's your wants, okay, if you could plus it. And finally, I want you to find a trustworthy, experienced agent that knows the ins and outs of advising first-time home buyers. Because a first-time home buyer has different needs than somebody buying a second, third, or fourth time, and it's a different transaction. So I want to make sure that you're getting somebody that truly is experienced with first-time home buyers. So going into the 3 secrets, secret number 1, you don't have to have a ton of money saved up to buy a home. So here's another question for you. If you knew that you could own a home and not pay much more than you would to rent a decent place, would you take action today? Let me know, guys. Let me know over here. Would you take action today if you knew without a doubt you could own a home and pay not much more than you would to rent a decent place? I mean, what's a decent place cost? I own some rental properties now, and my stuff, I've got 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, and they start at $725 and go up to about $950. So, guys, if you can pay $725, $800, $900 a month, you can afford a nice, decent house of your own. I mean, so if you knew that you could own one, would you take action today? Look at Mr. Moneybags here, right? Mr. Monopoly. He's got empty pockets. It's okay, Mr. Monopoly. We can still hook you up with a good deal. Loans still exist out there with low or no down payment. They did not go away when the crash happened in 2006 and 2007. A lot of people think that all of the zero down programs or low down programs disappeared. They didn't. So I'm going to educate you today on what a few of those are. But here's the caveat to all this in my notes. I want you to understand that just because you may be able to get a no money down loan, it doesn't always mean you should, okay? Because there are certain costs involved with it, And again, that's why you want to make sure you've got a real good consultant that's helping walk you through this process to make sure you're doing what's right for your family. Okay, so but there are great options out there for no money down loans. For example, did you know that the nation's biggest credit union offers zero down mortgages? We're talking zip, nada, zero, no down payment required. That is done through, the VA. It's a no down payment loan, the VA loan. The VA guarantees purchase mortgages, and it takes no down payment if you're a veteran. If you're a qualified veteran, it's amazing how many veterans I meet that do not understand they have this opportunity. It's a no money down loan. You get a certificate of eligibility from the VA, and then what you do is you go to a private lender, oftentimes a bank or a mortgage officer. They go ahead and write and originate the loan, which means they create the loan for you and take you through the process. But why the banks like to do it is because the VA guarantees that loan. The VA says, we're good for it. We vouch for this person, this individual. Another thing that's awesome about the VA loans is there's no mortgage insurance at all. And you'll see with some of these no money down programs or low money down programs, that can add up to be quite an expense in your monthly payment. So if you're a veteran, guys, we got to be looking at it. Now, you do pay a small funding fee, but the good news is that can be rolled into the loan amount. So again, no money down. Another source that a lot of people don't know about is Navy Federal Credit Union. This is the nation's largest credit union in assets and membership, and it offers 100% financing not only to some members of the military, but also some civilian employees of the military, some people that work with the U.S. Department of Defense, and even extends to some of their family members. So if you've got a tie to the military at all and through the government, you need to be checking this out, okay? So again, if you've got any ties, we need to be checking this out and getting you hooked up, okay, with the Navy Federal. I just closed one of these probably about 60 days ago with a friend of mine, and he discovered he was eligible for this, and man, it saved him about $15,000 because he bought what'd he buy? He bought like a $250,000 house, walkout basement, beautiful home in Ozark, and he got into it. It was not even his first home, and he was able to use this program to get in for no money down. Another one that is often overlooked, but is so awesome here in southern Missouri, is the USDA. The United States Department of Agriculture offers a rural development loan. But here's the thing, a lot of borrowers are surprised to find out that rural development loans, they're not confined to farms. As a matter of fact, in southern Missouri, Nixa, Ozark, Republic, Rogersville, Fair Grove, Strafford, Willard, you pretty much name any surrounding community except for Springfield itself, and I don't think Battlefield counts, right? But other than that, except for Springfield, Battlefield, Brookline, you count most of these other areas in Greene, Christian, and Webster counties, most of them qualify for USDA. And it is a great program. Now, it has certain income limitations to it for a family. You can only earn a certain amount of money, but it's pretty healthy. It's somewhere in the $70,000 range, give or take, per year that you can earn depending on how many people are in your family. So this is a great program to take advantage of here in the Ozarks. Now, if one of these programs don't work for you, if you're not military based, or maybe you earn more than the USDA program, or maybe you actually want to be in Springfield itself, one of your options would be the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration. You can get in with them with a minimum down payment of 3.5%. It's a great low down payment option that's available, especially for people that maybe have a couple of blemishes on their credit report, and maybe a higher debt to income ratio, meaning maybe you've got a few extra credit cards, right, or some student loans that add up and take a chunk of your money where a conventional loan may not work. FHA is pretty liberal with the debts that they allow, and they also allow some blemishes. Now, even though this is a great program, you are putting some money down. If your credit score is high enough, and if you don't have a ton of debt, you may actually want to look at a low down conventional loan, because that may actually cost you less than an FHA loan. Even though it puts more money down, there are certain costs associated with FHA that make it, make it maybe a more expensive option than a 5% conventional down. So with that being said, how does the low down conventional work? Well, you've got to have pretty good credit. You've got to have lower debt amounts, on your books. But if you qualify, the nice thing about this is they will go ahead and insure the mortgage. They'll use what's called PMI. But one of the big differences is that the PMI mortgage on a conventional loan is a lot less than the FHA mortgage insurance. And also with PMI, it goes away. So once you own your house and you have 20% equity in it, PMI can be removed. FHA it can't. So FHA is going to insure that mortgage, and you're going to pay extra every month just because of that insurance and the fact that you used FHA. So it's a FHA. Don't get me wrong, is a great program, an absolutely great program. If you need a little extra debt allowance, and if you need. So, okay, now let's go on to the next one, which is the MHDC cap and non-cap program. This is an amazing program. Now, it does run out of money on a consistent basis. However, one thing that is great about it is it does offer down payment assistance. So, if you've got good credit, but you don't have the down payment money and you really want to go with a conventional loan, qualified home buyers, first-time home buyers, are eligible to get a grant up to 4.5% of the loan amount to be used for down payment. So imagine that you're getting a 5% down loan. This cap program will give you 4.5%, and it's a grant, meaning you don't have to pay it back. That is just phenomenal, right? Now with it, there are certain price limits, but for a single-family home in a non-targeted area, which is what Springfield is, you see there in the middle, that middle block, you can buy up to a $265,000 single-family home or up to a $340,000 duplex. And then your income, it has income limits, but again, in non-targeted areas, look down here at the bottom, down here in Springfield, you can earn up to $60,000 if there's under 2 people in your family, up to almost $70,000 if you've got 3 or more. So a lot of people don't know about this program. It's a fantastic program if you can time it right. Is that good news or what? Let's see what Mr. Bean thinks. This is my excited face. Man, I love this guy, Rowan Atkinson. Oh, Mr. Bean. He's just so goofy. But isn't this honestly exciting news that there are a lot of great options out there for you, especially being a resident of the Ozarks, with some amazing low programs that can help get you in for little or no money down. So that's it. Secret number 1 been fulfilled, right? There are programs you don't have to have a ton of cash or perfect credit to buy your first home. Secret number 2, loan officers really, really, really want to give you money. Guys, if they don't write loans, they don't get paid. My mentor, when I lived up in Syracuse, New York, told me this, and I found it hard to believe at first, but he said, listen, they need to do that. They're rated on performance. They need to find ways to give people loans. So if they don't, most all loan officers, some of them have a salary, but most all of them have some type of incentive for finding quality borrowers to give money to, because that's how the banks get some of their interest, right? That's how the banks make their profits, and that's how they pay their loan officers. So your loan officer is not your enemy. Your loan officer is your friend. And again, if you don't know one, let me know. Let my team know. We know a lot of great reputable loan officers to hook you up with. Now, if you're going to go meet with somebody that you know really wants to help you, the best way to get them to help you is for you to help them. One way you can help them is to help them make their job easier. So how do you do that? I want you to be prepared. Be prepared to meet your lender. Mortgage lenders will require paperwork, okay? Paperwork that verifies your income, your debts, your assets. They're going to want these documents, so you might as well go ahead and get them together. In this checklist, you can write some notes, as fast as you can, but here's basics of it. You're going to need your W-2 forms from the last couple of years if you're a paid, paycheck employee, right? If you're a business owner or self-employed, you're going to need the last couple of years of your 1099 forms. You're also going to need recent paycheck stubs for the last couple of months, or at least the last couple of stubs. You're going to need your most recent federal tax return, and also, if you're self-employed, you're going to need the last 2 years. Even if you're an employee status and not self-employed, you still may need your last 2 tax returns if there's been a change in your job or a change in your income, things along that line. You're also going to want to have a complete list of your debts, right? What credit cards do you have? What student loans? Any car loans? What about child support? Some people don't think about that. Do you have child support payments or alimony that you're responsible for? Okay. And what are those minimum monthly payments and balances? The loan officer is going to need to know that. They also want to know what assets do you have. So any checking and savings accounts that you have, or a 401k or IRA, any other type of stuff like that. If you've got a clean car title, they'll want to know about it. And if you're a renter right now, especially if you're a renter, they're going to want copies of your recent canceled rent checks to show that you've been paying your rent on time. It also helps them prove what they call payability, so they can show that you're already used to making a payment pretty similar to what you're going to be paying, and that'll help you get qualified. Another thing is they're going to want to verify your credit score. So to help improve your odds, you guys may want to go ahead and pull your credit before you ever go meet with a loan officer. There's a lot of great sites out there right now. Most credit card companies offer some type of credit monitoring. I know like Discover does, and I think Capital One. I'm sure a few others. Another site you can go to is creditkarma.com. It's free just to sign up and get a kind of a sneak peek at your credit score. It's usually off a little bit, but at least get you in the right ballpark. Now, what I want you to do with this is if you find your credit score is below 600, that's fine. You may not be able to buy a home today, but I still want you to go meet with a loan officer, because especially one that is a really good consultant, because they can look over your credit report with you and let you know what it is you're going to need to do in order to improve your score. And they have ways and techniques they know that can help you raise it pretty quickly, that are completely legal and completely ethical. So let's not walk away just because maybe you find us below 600. Let's just be prepared for a different conversation with the loan officer than the one you might have originally started out with. Okay? Now here's a question about it. What if, Jeff, what if I've had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure on my record? Can I still get a home loan? Man, I get it. Bankruptcy is a bummer, right? No one has ever said, oh man, I'm so excited to file bankruptcy, right? That being said, I understand, and loan officers understand, sometimes it needs to be done, right? And there are 2 types, right? There's Chapter 7 and there's Chapter 13. Now, if you've had Chapter 7, most reputable lenders, including online ones like Quicken Loans, if you've had Chapter 7, they're going to make you wait probably about 2 years after that has been discharged, okay? Not from when it was filed, but after when it was actually discharged. If you find one who's going to consider you prior to those 2 years, that's cool, but understand, you need to understand it may come with extra costs, and I want you to know what the terms are, because they may be putting in some prepayment penalties, some things along that line. So it's probably going to cost you more one way or the other if you find a lender that's going to do it prior to 2 years. So just make sure you're not being scammed, all right? Again, we're happy to help you through this process. The other one is Chapter 13. Most people will make you wait at least 1 year after Chapter 13's been discharged. There are some exceptions made pretty consistently for U.S. veterans. But if you find, again, a lender who's going to consider you prior to that, just make sure to do your due diligence, guys. Understand what the terms are so you're aware of what you're going into prior to accepting that mortgage. Now, what about a foreclosure or a short sale? Well, each one affects you a little bit differently. If you had a foreclosure or a short sale, it's pretty much either 2 to 7 years before you can qualify for a mortgage. In the case of a foreclosure, the waiting period is usually 7 years. With a short sale, it's usually 2 years. And even then, there are a lot of times they're going to want a lot more down payment of at least 20%. But I will say there are exceptions to every rule. So there are sometimes some loan programs coming out that have more favorable timelines than that. But let's, again, make sure we're doing our due diligence, seeing what it says. And in the meantime, from your foreclosure, I hope that you have really focused on building your credit back up, right? Paying off other balances, making things paid on time, and really working on building your credit history back up. So with the pre-approval, we've been spending a lot of time on that. Is this really all that important? Is getting pre-approved all that important? Absolutely. Because here's the thing, if buyers that don't take this important step, they run the risk of derailing the entire transaction, okay? So, you know, if you go in and you aren't pre-approved and you find a house you love, you put an offer on it, you ask the seller to take it off the market, then you can't get pre-approved. Everybody's just let down and disappointed from that. People have put in time and labor and love and energy, and it's just a bad deal. The other thing is, you know, if you've gotten pre-approved, if you're not pre-approved, most sellers in today's market, they're not going to take you seriously and they're not going to take your offer because it gives the seller peace of mind and it also gives you peace of mind knowing that you're likely going to get this thing to closing. Oftentimes, if you aren't pre-approved, sellers just aren't even looking at the offer, they're rejecting it, or they're sending back a counteroffer saying, you've got to get a pre-approval before we will sign this deal. And even once you are pre-approved, something I really want you to note is this. Whatever you do between the time you find a home and by the time the day you close on it, do not make any major purchases, do not make any job changes, but especially, you know, both of those, but on the major purchases, you might think something's little and insignificant, like you may be so excited about your new house and getting a new fridge for your kitchen that you go to Lowe's and you apply for their 12-month no interest and you do that the week before your closing. I got to tell you guys, that can make closing not happen. I've seen it happen. The day before closing, the lender has called up and said, we cannot close this deal because they bought a new fridge. All right? So this is not a joke. Don't do it. Okay? So that is very important. Now, the question I get a lot of times is how much income do I need to buy a home? Well, that's really subjective. You know, it depends on your debt and all of that and your history, but there are some great mortgage calculators that are out there to help you with this. One of them that I really like is mortgagecalculator.org. It's a free site you can go to. Now, if you carry a lot of debt that has monthly required payments, you really do want to talk to a lender first to see how that impacts your borrowing power, okay? If you've got a lot of student loans and credit cards and car payments, that's gonna reduce the amount that you can likely qualify for in a home. Doesn't mean you can't qualify, but I want you to really talk to that lender. So the mortgage calculator might give you a ballpark figure, but again, at the end of the day, who gets to make the decision? The people that have the money, right? The people that are going to loan the money are the ones that ultimately have the final say. So, but it will give you a ballpark and see how you're doing on things. So here's an example. Let's say you're going to buy a home for $200,000 and you're going to use a 5% conventional down payment. You get an interest rate today is around 4.5% for 30 years. Let's say your front end ratio is 30% and your back end ratio is 36%, okay? So front end ratio is technical speak. It means your housing allowance, how much can you spend on housing. 36% means how much total debt can you carry, and that's of your gross payment, your gross paycheck, okay, your before tax paycheck. So when you're entering this stuff in, you know, you want to know how much is it? You know, is my gross $35,000 a year? Is it $25,000? Is it $50,000? And you're going to base it on your gross, okay? And then what are your annual taxes around Springfield and all these areas? About 1% is what you can assume, and about 0.75% to 1% is about what you can assume for insurance. And PMI, if you're going to have to get that mortgage insurance, it's about 1.25, so that can add up, right? But when you go through this sample, it's going to tell you that based on that, your monthly principal and interest payment would be $960 a month, your taxes $160, your insurance $125, your monthly PMI. So it's going to put you in a $200,000 home, all expenses, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PMI, for $1,400 a month. And then you can have an additional $800 in debt payments, okay, for car payments, student loans, credit cards. So in order to qualify based in this example on mortgagecalculator.org, you would need a monthly gross income of a little over $4,800 a month, okay? So is that a pretty cool tool or what? I mean, I found that not long ago, and I wanted to share that with you because I love it. So you've gone through this, you've gathered all your checklist of documents, right? You've pulled your credit score, you've met with a lender, you've gotten on the same page, you've gotten pre-approved, and you find out, woohoo, I can qualify for a $200,000 house. Congratulations, you are pre-approved for a home loan. Now what? Well, now that you know what you can afford, guys, it's time to go shopping. Remember, not this kind of shopping, right? especially if you like to purchase using credit. That can derail your home buying chances dramatically. Again, it's not a joke. Don't get pre-approved and then go shopping on Rodeo Drive, guys. It's not going to bode well for you. Okay, so don't go celebrate like that. But I do want you now to get ready for shopping. I want you to start putting your list together, and I want you to get clarity on it. I don't want you to be like this couple here. Okay, this couple says, we want a cozy, secluded 20-acre farm surrounded by hills, trees, and streams, but we want it within walking distance of shops, restaurants, schools, theaters, and hot night spots. That doesn't exist, right? So get really clear. You and your spouse need to get really clear on what it is that you want. It's time for you to get real. Again, this is why I suggest you make two lists, one for must-haves and another of wants. Because I hate to burst your enthusiasm bubble, but my experience has taught me that the perfect home does not exist. Even if you were to build it, you're going to look back later on and say, man, I wish I would have put that door here. I wish I would have made this room 3 feet bigger or whatever else it is. So the big question is, how do you know the difference between a must-have and a want? Well, an example is your needs are, because your family side, you need 3 bedrooms, you need 2 full baths. You've got 2 cars, a boat, and a workshop, so you need a 3-car garage. You're pre-approved up to $150,000. Your kids are currently going to Kickapoo, and you don't want to have them to transfer, right? So those are needs. A wants might be, I'd love it in the plus world. I'd love it to already have a wooden privacy fenced yard because we have a dog and I like privacy. I'd love to have a kitchen that opens in the living room so I can see the kids while I'm cooking dinner. I want his and her closets because, man, my husband throws his underwear all over the floor and it bugs me. I want stainless steel appliances with beautiful granite countertops. Okay, so that's an example of your needs and wants list, right? Now, again, note, for registering for this webinar, by staying till the end of it, you're going to receive a complimentary home shopping list that we've compiled over our 20 years of selling houses and helping over 1,000 people buy a house. I really suggest you use this. And I also suggest that your spouse also have their own separate copy if you're married, and you both use it separately, and then afterwards you come together and compare notes, because you'll be you might not be surprised, but you two probably don't agree on everything. And it'll be time for you to use this list creation to come together and find out between the two of you what you agree on as the must-haves. And then you can keep your separate list of the top 2 or 3 wants from each, okay? This is going to save you a ton of energy. It's going to save you a ton of time. And I've also even seen it save arguments, quite frankly, between spouses about what they want and what they don't want during the home hunt. So use this, spend some time in it. And after you've done that, I want you to find a realtor to represent your best interest. Guys, this is one of the biggest lessons you need to take away from today's webinar, because even if you mess up the steps of getting pre-approved for a loan, and even if you skip making your wants and needs list, a great agent will still be able to help you through those processes. Like I said, we can hook you up with loan officers that we know are good, that are trustworthy, that have your best interests. We can help you sit down and go through the wants and needs list and what's realistically available to you for your options. So make sure that you do hire a realtor. How do you know they're great? Well, there are some questions you should ask, okay, before you select an agent. First, how long have they been licensed? I mean, did they just get into this business? And do they work it in full-time, or do they have another job? I got to be honest with you. I tried starting out part-time 20 years ago. You can't do it. You can't do it at a high level and really protect your people's interests, because all the attorneys, all the bankers, all the title companies, they're only open from 9 to 5, and you've got to be able to deal with that throughout the day. Also, I'd ask them, what percentage of your business is working with buyers? You want to find somebody that's working a large percentage of their business with buyers so that they're very comfortable with the process. I would say at least 45 or 50% of their business you'd want to be with buyers. The second question is, how familiar are you with the area where I want to purchase? Right? I want to be in Springfield. I want to be in Nixa. Do you know the area? Next, do you have references? Do you have testimonials from other buyers who've used your services? Also, do you have an association membership that requires you to live up to a code of ethics or a standard of practice? There are some people out there that do not join our membership, and they don't have to subscribe to this same code of ethics. Also, number 5, do you think that foreclosures and bank-owned properties or even for sale by owners would be appropriate for my home search? Let them answer you and let them give you the reasons as to why or why not. Number 6, how often are you going to supply me with properties that meet my criteria? How will you get them to me? Will you point out all of the negative aspects of each property as well as the positive aspects? And I would add on to this, are you going to keep me within my price range? I don't know if you guys have ever looked at House Hunters International on HGTV or even the regular House Hunters. Man, all the time those agents are showing them things what they've said are out of their budget. That's ridiculous. It's your budget. It's not mine, guys. It's my job to help you find a home that meets most of your needs and hopefully all of your wants within your budget. That's my job. I'm your advocate, right? Number 7, ask them, how do you represent buyers to make them get the best price and terms? And then number 8, can you help with the loan process if I have questions? Do you have a list of lenders and home inspectors, insurance agents, other professionals, a CPA, and an attorney that can help us in this process if we need them? Number 9, how do you get paid? Right? Do I pay you up front? Do I pay you, on the back end? How do you get paid? Number 10, do you have a written agreement, and how long is that agreement for? What happens if I see a for sale by owner house on my own? And then finally, how would you represent me as a buyer client for properties that are listed with your brokerage? Is that going to affect your relationship with me? Is that going to push me into dual agency? Or am I going to be designated agent or transactional or all these different types of brokerage? How might that affect your ability to negotiate on my behalf for those properties? Okay, so ask them all these great questions. Now, here's the truth. That is, if the agent you're talking to cannot confidently answer your questions without hesitation, run. Do not walk. Get out of there. Go on to next, okay? But what exactly is buyer's agency and why do I need it? Well, there's 4 common types of agency in Missouri. The most common are buyer's agency, seller's agency, the dual agent, and the transaction brokerage. Now, buyer's agency, most prospective home buyers have a huge misconception that they think because they can see houses on the internet and all of that, and they can go look at houses, that once they begin working with an agent, that agent represents the buyer. Guys, this is not always the case. Unless there is a signed buyer's agency agreement, I want you to understand that unless you have a signed buyer's agency agreement, the agent that is working with the buyer still either represents the seller's interests in the transaction or has no interest at all to you. No representation at all. So either way, guys, it is a lose for you. If you do not have signed buyer's agency, you do not have somebody working for you, okay? So without that agreement, I want you to know there's certain information that the agent cannot disclose to you as a buyer. They can't tell you why the owner's selling if they know. They can't tell you any concessions that the seller's willing to negotiate or pay on your behalf, or closing costs, or price reduction off the list price. Any conversations that they have between the seller and themselves, they can't tell you about it because it's confidential. Any disclosed information that would harm the seller and give you an advantage, which is what you want when you're buying a home. You want an advantage. Any of that information cannot be given to you without a signed buyer's agency agreement. So that's why it's so imperative that you guys get this. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. You guys hear it? Okay. Now, let me ask you, for the past 30 minutes, do you agree? Has it been a wise investment of your time so far? Okay, because we're about to get to the end. So has it been a wise investment of your time so far? I hope so, because I want, again, to educate and empower you to get the confidence and the belief that you can and should buy a home. Now, as I said, free gift, don't forget, here's a sample, right? You're going to get your home buying wish list. So stick around a few more minutes and I'll make sure we get that to your email address, okay? Now, buying a home is likely the largest financial investment you're ever going to make. So make sure to hire a professional with a long, proven track record of getting results for his clients. You cannot afford to skip this. You cannot afford to get away from it. Now, here's the good news. You can have the Bonham Group. You can have us represent you for no out-of-pocket expense if you qualify for our exclusive Home Buyers Advantage program. Now, what does that mean and what does that cover? Well, here's what it is. We give you the 417nomoneydown.com website to hook you up with no money and low down money homes available in your area. We're going to make sure you get to the closing table if you work with us through this program. We're going to hook you up with a $500 off closing costs should you go through one of our preferred lenders over at State Bank. We're going to hook you up in the Buyer's Advantage program. We're going to work on negotiating a home warranty on your behalf. You're going to get the home buying wish list, and we're going to supply you with a $2,000 savings guarantee certificate that says we will save you at least $2,000 off your home purchase. Okay, does that sound good? Lots of great bonuses in there. Again, but what is this? I got to tell you, here's the best part. It sounds expensive, right? Sounds like there's going to be a lot involved in the qualifying, but here's the best part. When you hire the Bonham Group, there are typically no extra costs associated with signing a buyer's agency agreement. Because here's the deal. Look at this in red. We negotiate to have our fees paid to us at the time of closing by who? By the seller. We negotiate to have our fees paid to us at the time of closing by the seller. So you get full-on representation with the Bonham Group. You get to tap into all of our knowledge, all of our resources, all of our technology and tools, and to represent and fight for your best interests for nothing out of your own pocket. I mean, after all, if you were going in for brain surgery, would you want the newbie doctor, the person that only does 1 or 2 procedures a year, or even worse, would you try to do it yourself? Absolutely not. Trust a professional. I mean, look at that. Look at this cartoon over here. I love it. It's just brain surgery, said no one ever, right? Real estate is one of the largest financial investments you are going to make in your lifetime. Do not trust it to those that are inexperienced, and definitely do not try to do it alone, okay? So the good news, again, is that's who we are. That's what we do. You've seen our credentials in the beginning. Since 1994, we've helped over 1,000 families with their real estate transactions. So when experience counts, when integrity counts, when expertise counts, you can count on us, the Bonham Group, okay? Here's an example from this young lady. It says, 5 stars. The Bonham Group went way above and beyond for our home purchase. Every snag was met with professionalism and excellent care. My husband and I were blown away by their level of service. If you're buying or selling, save yourself a headache and see Jeff and Kathy first. And how about this one for Pam? It says, if you're looking for a trustworthy, hardworking real estate group, look no more. They care deeply about their clients' needs and will still be selling real estate 20 years from now. Guys, that's right. So at this time, here's where we're at. We have currently reserved 5 openings for new buyers to work with us this month. 5 buyers to join our Buyer's Advantage program, and only 5. And we had to limit that, okay? Now here's how you qualify. If you genuinely want to buy a home, if you're willing to take our guidance and advice, and if you'd like to be considered for one of those slots and the opportunity to become a member of the Bonham Group's Preferred Buyer Program, our Buyer Advantage program, please contact us today. It's got limited spots available. You can go to meetthebonhamgroup.com. That's an online scheduling system that'll allow you to go ahead and find a time that we already have available that works with your calendar, so we don't have to be playing phone tag back and forth. Just go to meetthebonhamgroup.com to set up your 30-minute buyer consultation with us in our office so we can get to know your goals, your needs, and you can find out more about the process, and we can make sure we're a good fit for one another. Because here's the reality. In this business, we have 2 choices to make. One is we can work with and spend time on absolutely everyone that shows an interest in buying a home and dilute our focus and ability to serve them 100%. But maybe we get to close more deals this year. Maybe make a little more money this year by absolutely working with everyone. Or we can limit this opportunity, and we can limit it to 5 slots and work with people that we believe truly want our help, that we believe we can serve their needs at a high level. Because our intention is that of creating raving fans of our service. We want people to be so happy that you're going to introduce us to your friends, to your family, and to your coworkers in the future that are looking to buy or sell real estate. And don't forget, when you contact us, make sure to ask about our $2,000 home buyer savings guarantee plan. That's exclusive to us, guys. That's just with the Bonham Group. So go to meetthebonhamgroup.com to set up your appointment. Act now, meetthebonhamgroup.com. Go there, log in, find a time that works, set up your spot. We look forward to it. I mean, you've got all these amazing resources at your hands. So guys, thank you so much for spending the last 45 or so minutes with me. I hope you found it to be incredibly informative. We look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs.